Brought to you by the Connecticut Audubon Society. Young, Gifted, and Wild About Birds. Painting and Drawing Birds with artist Jenny Kroik.
Hey, Jenny. Hi, it's Tom Anderson, Connecticut Audubon. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. So Thursday, March 3rd at 7 p.m., you're going to be the show on Young, Gifted, and Wild About Birds. Tell me what you're planning on talking about, and show us what you've got on your work table there as well.
Sure. So I'm really excited. I think what I want to talk about is a little bit my point of view as somebody who is not a bird expert, but how I learned to sort of memorize and be interested in birds through art. So I'm hoping to show some of my bird paintings, which I do to sort of get people excited about birds as much as I do. So I'm kind of like a bird pusher. As somebody pushed me into birding. So I think some of the things I really love about birds and also related to my artwork is the narrative aspect of the birds, the sort of thinking about like, how do they get there? What are they thinking? And the more I get excited about the stories about the birds, I also want to learn about them. So it's kind of, it goes both ways.
Um,
um,
how long have you been painting birds?
I got into birding actually during the pandemic, like a lot of people did. My friend, gave me the Sibley's book, and I started kind of noticing birds and going home and like looking in the book and seeing what they were. And I got really addicted to birding. So now I go probably every day, wherever I am, and I always bring my binoculars, and I'm just curious to know what birds in my neighborhood, what they're doing, what's the sort of makeup of different birds around me. So I'm not so much like hunting like rare species, but I'm more just interested about what they're doing, how, in our environments,
Right,
how they get along with us.
and these are birds that you find. You live in Manhattan, I
Yeah,
think, right? Yeah. So these are
yeah.
birds that you find in parks near your home.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I go a lot. We actually have two huge parks. I live in Upper Manhattan, so there's Fort Tryon Park and Inwood Hill Park,
Mm.
which are fairly big, but they're also like very urban and dirty and noisy and
Yeah. Well, I
very.
mean that's completely relevant to Connecticut, where we have Hartford and New Haven and Bridgeport, big cities with big parks as well, and lots of people, lots of opportunities for people to go birding there. So,
Someone curious, like why do birds want to come to Manhattan? And I'm very excited to see them when they do.
show us what's on your desk there.
Yeah. So when I just started birding, I would actually bring a sketchbook, which I'll show during my talk. And before I kind of knew about bird groups and, kind of had an idea of what the bird could be, I would focus on the shapes and the colors and try to sketch what I thought I saw, because I wasn't, I didn't have a camera, or I still don't have a camera, but I wasn't good at recording what I saw. So I just started like trying to remember the shape and the color. So the art training kind of helped me with the birding and vice versa. And then drawing the bird got me more excited. So this is actually a couple of birds that I didn't see yet. And this is one of the things I like to do, which is kind of like, if you paint them, they will come. Where I have some people who are friends, we follow each other on Instagram, and sometimes we'll do like a pen pal exchange, or I'll do like a raffle where I'll say like, guess this and win a bird card. And then what I love to do is to look where they live on eBird. And I guess it's a form of like bird stalking, where I'll look at their zip code, and then I'll go to the hot spots on eBird, and then I'll get really excited about the birds that I haven't seen yet. Like I'll, look in Idaho or Utah, which is where these two birds
Hmm.
are from. And then I'll paint, some of the birds from the photos on eBird. and send, people like little bird cards. And
Mm.
so it's kind of, I don't know. I just really enjoy doing this. There's really no point to this besides the
Right.
fact that I love it.
And that's actually something I wanted to ask about or make a point of. It's not like you're doing Sibley kind of illustrations
Mhm.
that people will be able to use and go out and identify. But so how would you, is there a phrase that you use for describing the kind of work you do? That's a good one. Show it again.
So this is actually from our neck of the woods in Inwood Hill Park. We have I don't know if I'm probably not supposed to say where it is, but in Upper Manhattan,
Right.
there's an owl that I saw by accident. He just hoots so loudly, and I was really excited because he's just there all the time. And I painted the little owl and decided to name him Marty.
There a phrase that you use to describe the kind of drawing and painting you do?
I guess kind of like illustrative, like narrative
Mhm.
um, paintings where it's sort of, just showing, I love showing the character of the bird, thinking about what is the bird thinking? Like, what is this little like boring owl? Like, it's so like kind of, chunky and cute and fluffy, but also is like really intense.
Mhm.
So there's something about like thinking about, them as animals and then how we relate to them, with the sort of characters we impose on them. So I guess it's kind of interesting to me to think about the story, not just the bird story, but like our stories about birds and how we relate to them. And, mostly I paint portraits and my work is very narrative. And, a lot of it was before the pandemic is I would look at people on the street and sort of think about, who they are and what they're doing, where they're going. And I think because you couldn't do that for a while, it kind of got replaced with birds.
Right.
I started like sort of, following birds around and wondering like, who's this bird? Like, what's it thinking? Like, where's it going?